That's a lot of sperm, isn't it? Yes. So you're putting all of that inside you?
Yeah.
I guess that's like kind of small penis size.
You have 160 children, someone's gonna come after you. Most are in the United States, Argentina, Australia, everywhere.
That's crazy.
No swimmer left behind. I want to find each of them a good home. We have natural insemination, which would basically be sexual intercourse.
Do you do it because you just like having sex with random people? In this episode of Life Uncovered, I'm meeting sperm donor Joe, who's fathered over 160 children.
Well, there are people that say that that in itself is irresponsible.
Joe travels the world impregnating women by donating his sperm artificially, but also controversially, he visits women and has actual sex with them, insisting the old-fashioned method is most effective. He claims to have donated his sperm to over 800 women. I'm travelling to meet Joe at home, where he's created his very own sperm factory. His days are usually spent ejaculating into a cup, packaging it up into a syringe, and shipping his samples to wannabe mums across the world. Hello, hey, Joe.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing? Nice to meet you.
Good.
What do they call these chairs again? Is it a chaise longue?
A chaise, yeah. I could sit here and imagine I'm Freud. You know, you caught me right in the middle of preparing a shipment, so you have my little lab here.
What are these things?
Well, this is Bruna. She's in Argentina.
So where have you got kids?
Most are in the United States, and then I've got a bunch in Argentina, a bunch in Australia, and of course the UK and Finland, China, everywhere. You know.
That is nuts, isn't that crazy? So like these kids, were they conceived naturally or artificially? Like
natural.
And natural means literally you having sexual intercourse to make a baby.
Yeah, it could be a number of different ways. Some people might have a partner so they don't want to kiss because that's very intimate.
How much do you do it because you just like having sex with random people?
If I actually wanted to have sex every day, a relationship might be a better idea.
Do you enjoy those experiences?
Yeah. You know, it's a very meaningful, it's almost like having like, 100 different lives, you know.
Having seen the mechanics of Joe's business in action, I joined him as he went to see one of his daughters, who lives nearby. I was intrigued to see what kind of role he plays in her life. So how did it come into the world?
Yeah, it was a natural.
Okay. Do you feel like, I suppose, her father?
Yeah, I'm her father.
You don't have as intimate of a connection to a lot of them, I guess?
No, maybe not.
There's elements of it that do feel like a kind of conventional relationship. You don't have to do all the chores. Is that what appeals to you about it, that you can be a free man?
I just enjoy seeing my child.
The reality is you are just coming in and out of their life. You're not a conventional father. You have 160 kids. It's impossible.
Some fathers don't see their children at all.
What do you think you'll tell her when she grows up?
I'll tell her everything. I've had a conversation with some other people already, you know, like I've told them about their, brothers and sisters. They don't consider it to be unusual.
It's not a normal scenario to have so many siblings scattered around the world.
It's not common. The internet makes all these things possible, which were never possible before. Again.
I've just stepped out for a second and this is fascinating, Joe's in there with one of his daughters, kind of acting like the dad. And obviously biologically is, but in reality, he's not there doing the daily tasks. He's not raising the kid. And as the child grows up and he has even more children, what's going to happen? Is he going to be involved in their life then? How's he going to explain all of this to them? It's difficult, and it's hard for me to process. So how many kids do you reckon you've got around here?
I've got one in Spinnymore, and then here, and then Darlington.
Are you worried, because obviously we're in one central location now, there's multiple of your children about. The risk is definitely there that two of your kids might not know each other. And then...
It's the same risk that everyone faces, because you're not required to put a father on a birth certificate.
I guess it's not the same level of risk though, is it? Because not everyone's having 160 kids.
If two children were to accidentally meet, two half-siblings, and have a child, there's not a medical risk.
But are you saying it's okay if two of your kids meet?
I'm saying it's not a medical risk. What it is it's a social risk. It's a taboo.
Well, there will be some kind of medical risk. But I guess why are you arguing that so much? Like, there's not really much benefit for
I'm not saying
two
there's
of
a
your
benefit.
kids to meet
I'm saying that there's
and
no
have sex with each other.
I'm saying there's no medical risk. There's a reputation risk, and there's a shame.
Why is it that you're fighting that aspect of it?
I'm not fighting it and saying it's not a problem. I'm saying that statistically it's unlikely to happen. There's no cases of this happening because I have many children and I don't want them to be afraid of this.
What is it that is making you want all these kids?
So I got married very young and had children. And then, of course, there's some limits and I wanted to have more children. It's just a natural urge. I just perhaps feel it more strongly than others.
Why do you look at this?
Well, I look to check that the shipping method's effective. Can you see movement? There we go.
Look at them. Whoa, there's a lot of swimmers. So you've currently got about 160 kids.
Yeah.
What's the ambition? What number are you trying?
I don't have a specific number in mind. For me, at least, it's like being hungry or something.
Well, you have like a basic desire to reproduce.
Exactly, yeah.
Is it like money making?
No, this is not the path to riches.
So the money effectively is just expenses for travel and stuff. Is that kind of how it works?
Yeah, exactly. You have to sacrifice a lot. I think I'm living my best life, you know.
I still don't get really why he's doing it. When I asked him that, he just says he's got this kind of innate desire to have kids, but there's clearly something more to it, and that's what I need to find out. Hello, Joe. What's happening today?
I'm gonna go see a young woman here in Bath who wants to have another child.
So this is a physical insemination.
Yeah, we would say a natural, so it's more kissing, that type of thing.
And you've been meeting her each night, each day?
Yeah.
Having sex, making a baby?
Exactly.
Is she paying you?
No. Typically people don't pay, they just reimburse expenses. But in this case...
Is she paying for like your travel here?
No, she's not paying for anything.
So why are you doing it? Because you like sex? Is that why?
It's not really about sex. It's a fun time to travel, and she's a very charming young woman. You know, why would I say no?
Do you have some feeling for her?
Yeah, I would say there's some feelings, yeah. I think like the more time you spend, the more personal it becomes.
Is that why you do aspects of it? I mean, are you hoping you'll find love one day through this?
I find it a meaningful way to live my life.
How do you prepare when you're about to do a kind of natural insemination?
I brush my teeth and shave and do things like that.
Are you like taking her for dinner and paying for dinner and trying to sweet talk her? Like,
I should call you and get some advice, because all the things you have described are very good ideas.
Because it sounds properly awkward, really.
At the most basic level, you're just gonna spend a little bit of time with someone to get to know them a little bit.
How many times are you having sex?
Perhaps once.
Once, okay.
Yeah, it's difficult to just jump in cold.
So I'm standing at the side of a road waiting for Joe to kind of do his deed, which is obviously a strange experience. How you doing, Joe?
What's up, Ben? Not sure if you want to shake that hand.
So how was that?
Hopefully mission accomplished.
Did you get the sense that she, that she fancied you?
Yeah, I think maybe mutual feelings.
I thought about sperm donation as like kind of quite an impersonal thing, but yours kind of seems to be a bit more like a boyfriend experience.
It's a little bit more nuanced.
How much of this do you think is you, I suppose, wanting a relationship but without the commitment?
I don't know if there's exactly no baggage. Like if you have a child, there's always, you know, things come up.
Have you ever been in love?
Yeah, I'm like in my 50s.
Yeah, because there's aspects of your life, I guess, that feels like a lonely existence.
Yeah, I guess so.
How did you leave it when you left? Like, what did you say?
Oh yeah, a big kiss. Let me know what happens. She wants to get pregnant, right? So I think she is a little bit anxious about the test result.
I suppose maybe she just sees it purely as stone cold sperm donation, not as like a relationship. Do you ever worry about that?
There's an emotional bond that forms while you're trying to get pregnant. And once someone is pregnant, then their mind might turn back to, you know, other more immediate concerns. So it's hard to tell. I would say that I'm happy for it to go either way.
Part of me feels like Joe just wants to have sex and create an army of mini-me's, but that might be unfair. He also does provide a service that's sex-free and seems to have a paternal instinct. I'm in Wales and I'm meeting Joe Donor. This time he's doing an artificial insemination, I think. So he's going to masturbate into a cup, give it to them, and they'll do what they need to do with it. What's going on?
Well, I just made you a cup of Joe, if you'd like it.
Nice. Joe's juice. So what's this?
Oh, I was just preparing a sample for today's meeting.
So today it's a artificial insemination. And what does that mean?
Well, they're going to inject the baby batter into their hoo-ha. We're gonna be delivering this one today.
Is it in there?
Yeah, it's in there.
What is it?
Well, it's sperm.
It's just sperm in a box?
In a syringe, yeah.
In a syringe. So do you ejaculate into the syringe?
No, I would have to use some other, you know, receptacle to perhaps collect it, and then.
So you jizzed into this cup.
This is the cup of Joe, yeah.
How much are they paying you for this? Like
they're just reimbursing the expenses. Probably about, you know, 100 or so.
How often are you doing this? Like, how many samples are you sending on a weekly basis?
Some weeks might be 1 or 2, some weeks might be more.
Is that what you're aiming for? You know, you want, as you look down the lineage of life, you're going to have 25% of the world's population.
I think the largest proportion would probably go to Genghis Khan.
So it is about legacy. This feels like it finally boils down to it, which is, it's about you living past your life now, it's immortality.
I think that there's an urge in all people, perhaps in all organisms, to continue their line.
But this is your version of the pyramids. This is your way of leaving your imprint.
Well, the pharaohs did have their pyramids, and this is all I have. I'm not going to go out and build castles in the sand.
Tell me a bit about how you came across Joe.
We came across Joe with the Facebook sperm donation site, and Joe popped up and sort of met everything that we were after, really. Yeah. You know, he was quite friendly, wasn't he? And
what made you, I suppose, what made you need a donor for this? And instead of maybe going to the private clinic?
Money really, in there, you know, can't afford it. It's like a few grand to do that.
Joe's £100 a sample, and the sperm donation clinics, you're looking at, you know, £1,000, £2,000.
I suppose the shocking thing is that he's got like 170 kids. What kind of goes through your mind with that?
He's helped so many families, which is just lovely, really.
Do you want him to have any involvement in the child's life? Not at all.
No.
It's okay.
No.
They am the child's father.
Yeah.
What would you do if further down the line he says he wants an involvement in the kid's life?
It wouldn't be something that we would be open for.
One service he also offers is natural insemination.
Yeah.
You seem shocked by that. How come you're shocked about that?
I don't know. I thought he'd just do like the samples, not actually go.
Would you ever consider the, you know, physical aspect, natural?
I don't know, if it increased the chances and guaranteed that, you know, she got pregnant.
Would you also be open to that?
Yeah, it's fine for me, because at the end of the day, I just want a child with Jake.
If you got to that point, how would you do that? You know, would it be quite a cold experience, just kind of?
I don't know, really. I don't think we've really thought about that, have we? If it's the case that nothing else works, we might have to look down that way.
So I've just stepped outside the Jake and Kate's house for a second, and it's really interesting. You know, you can see clearly how much they really want a kid and how much this would mean to them. But, you know, Kate's only just met Joe, and the fact that she's potentially willing to have actual sex with him, I suppose, shows just how much this means to her, and, you know, that she'll do whatever makes the most sense. But it's also really murky, because if they do that, Joe is technically the dad. He could technically have some custodial rights over the kid, and it just feels like the kind of recipe for disaster. But, you know, all right, I'm gonna go back inside.
Right, I'm Jake.
Nice to meet you, Jake. Oh, I have your baby batter.
Thank you very much.
Now, what's it like meeting Joe?
nerve-wracking, to be
It
honest.
is, yeah.
Don't worry, it's common to take a few cycles.
Yes.
There's nothing to worry about.
So what is actually the process?
On your back.
I would recommend
On
you
my
lay with
back?
your head down. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
you're-
Oh, like on my back?
Like flat.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
We put a pillow.
should we open this?
Yeah.
And
We put a pillow.
I mean, we're not
on the
actually
backside.
putting your sperm inside
no, I
my
know
body.
that. I know.
So you're putting all of that
Yes.
inside you?
Yeah.
I guess that's like kind of small penis size. Yeah.
And
Yes.
then you
the
lay
legs.
square.
Now, for,
Against the wall. This is,
Yeah.
this is like a proper ab exercise.
Yeah.
All right. Well, should we hand it over and... Okay, so it's happening. There we go. How are you feeling about this, Joe?
yeah, feeling good.
Potentially another baby.
Yeah.
Is this like a thing that you've done before where you wait while they do the process?
I have, and in some cases I've actually done it for them.
Do you need to come in here? How are you feeling now?
Yeah, fine. Yeah, I'm hopeful. We're always so hopeful, aren't we, afterwards? So,
Yeah, it must be like a nerve-wracking time.
yeah. They call it the 2-week wait. So you just then got to wait the 2 weeks, 2.5
Yeah.
weeks, isn't it? And then you can test then.
Joe's DNA is now trying to
Worm his way up.
worm its way up. What's that like?
I've had good luck in the past, so it should continue.
Do you guys have any arrangement, like any written agreement on like kind of what it's going to be like going forward?
No.
It's just verbal, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because is that not a bit risky? Like, is it not just better to just write it out?
If I were to make a contract and it says I want nothing to do with this child, what would happen if the child read that one day?
But you have had cases where people have tried to get child support payments from you.
A
haven't
contract wouldn't stop that.
you? Yeah.
Like, none of us are lawyers. So if we write a contract, it probably wouldn't really protect us.
I suppose on the flip side, though, it gives clarity on what your expectations are, and in that, you're not going to be involved in the child's life. Jake's the father, kind of.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. But I think the verbal contract is,
Yeah.
is just
yeah.
as
Yeah, exactly.
just as cemented for us, I think it's a lot about trust.
All right, so we've just finished. On the one hand, I can totally see why they use Joe's services. It's so much cheaper than a conventional sperm bank, but at the same time, there's no real agreement. It felt uncomfortable to me that he's having sex with all these different women in areas that are very close together, whereas future kids could quite easily meet each other at school. It feels like a public health risk. Ultimately, kids are going to be the ones that actually feel the impact of that. It felt like Joe chose to ignore a lot of the consequences of his actions. Maybe one day, he'd have an army of kids turn up on his doorstep, demanding answers.